Walk for Peace. Learning from the walking journey of Venerable Minh. In a world increasingly filled with noise of debates, divisions, and conflicts of interest, people have grown accustomed to seeking peace through words, resolutions, and grand declarations. Yet, alongside that current, there emerge individuals who choose a completely different path. They speak little, make no loud appeals, and simply walk in silence. It is within this context that the ascetic walking journey of Venerable Minh and the Walk for Peace pilgrimage have become remarkable phenomena, compelling deeper reflection on the true meaning of peace. The walking journey of Venerable Minh cannot be properly understood if viewed merely as a long-distance trek. For one who practices the Dhutanga ascetic discipline, walking is not about arriving at a destination, but about letting go of comfort, of familiar safety, and even of the desire for recognition. Each step becomes a direct encounter with one's own body and mind. Hunger and fullness, fatigue and vitality, fear and calm, all revealed clearly without concealment. In modern society, where everything is planned, scheduled, and goal-oriented, the idea of a practitioner walking without a clearly defined destination appears perplexing. Yet it is precisely this lack of goal that reflects the core spirit of Buddhism. Living fully in the present moment, walking in accordance with conditions, without forcing circumstances. What is perhaps most striking is Venerable Minh's attitude toward the growing public attention surrounding his journey. Rather than using that attention to promote personal views or build social influence, he consistently maintains restraint and humility, even choosing avoidance. This makes it evident that the journey is not intended to change the world, but to preserve inner purity. Paradoxically, it is precisely this absence of calculation that gives the journey its profound resonance. In contrast to the deeply personal and inward nature of the Dhutanga journey, Walk for Peace emerges as a consciously social act. It is a collective, organized pilgrimage with a clear route and an explicit message of peace directed toward contemporary society, a society still marked by violence, polarization, and hatred. What distinguishes Walk for Peace from typical social movements, however, is its mode of expression. Instead of forums, conferences, or loud media campaigns, the monks chose walking slow, simple, and seemingly out of sync with the pace of modern life. That slowness itself demands attention. It creates a pause amid the rush of daily existence, inviting observers to ask, why do these people choose to walk in this way? Here, walking is no longer merely a means of movement. It becomes a living symbol. Physical exhaustion, calloused feet, daily perseverance all convey a message without the need for lengthy explanation. Walk for Peace demonstrates that peace cannot be proclaimed through words alone. It must be practiced through one's own body and mind. It is precisely in this choice of walking that Walk for Peace reveals its clear resonance with the journey of Venerable Minh. This is not a replication of form, but a meeting at the level of spirit, the ancient Buddhist principle of using the body as the Dharma and action as teaching. Both journeys avoid confrontation, debate, and criticism. They do not seek to persuade others that they are right, nor to prove anyone wrong. Instead, they choose presence. And it is this full presence that invites observers to reflect inwardly, to measure these paths against their own lives. At a deeper level, both journeys raise a fundamental question. Can peace begin externally if inner unrest still prevails? Venerable Minh answers by turning inward. Walk for Peace answers by bringing that inner awareness into the social sphere. Different responses, yet rooted in the same source. If one looks only at surface differences, these journeys may seem unrelated. But upon closer examination, it is precisely those differences that highlight the diversity of ways Buddhism can be applied in lived experience. Venerable Minh's journey reminds us that genuine transformation begins with the individual. Walk for Peace shows that when an individual is nurtured in mindfulness, each step can become a quiet reminder for the community. One is like an unseen root, the other like branches reaching toward the light. Without roots, branches cannot flourish. Without branches, roots struggle to spread. If initially these journeys appear as parallel, personal, and social paths, what deserves deeper attention is the quiet yet far-reaching impact they have on communities, particularly Vietnamese communities and Buddhist practitioners across multiple countries. A spiritual journey becomes truly alive only when it touches the awareness and lives of others, not through imposition, but through natural reflection. For overseas Vietnamese communities, especially in places such as Nepal, the United States, and other Asian countries, the image of Venerable Minh Tuệ walking in Dutanga practice evokes a unique emotional response. It is not merely pride in seeing a Vietnamese monk practicing in sacred lands, but a deeper reminder of spiritual roots that many, caught in the demands of livelihood, have gradually forgotten. Many Vietnamese abroad have shared that witnessing a Vietnamese monk walking silently without titles, without demands, helped them recognize the difference between carrying Buddhism as a form and living Buddhism as a way of life. As a result, not a few have begun to adjust their own practice, focusing less on outward rituals and debates over right and wrong, and more on cultivating inner calm in daily life. For international Buddhists, Walk for Peace serves as a cultural and spiritual bridge. It demonstrates that Buddhism does not exist only within temples, scriptures, or religious festivals, but can step directly into modern life and engage with global issues such as violence, conflict, and division. What captures the attention of many international Buddhists is not the peace message itself, which is familiar, but the method of conveying it. Monks walking across regions, enduring harsh weather, living simply and with discipline, evoke ancient ascetic journeys once thought to exist only in scriptures. Here, the indirect influence of Venerable Minh Tuê's journey becomes more apparent. Though he neither leads nor participates directly, the spirit of returning to embodied practice that he exemplifies provides a living model, encouraging global Buddhism to re-examine its foundational values in a new era. One of the most profound impacts of both journeys is a shift in how society perceives the image of a monastic practitioner. Rather than being associated with position, title, or authority, the image becomes one of simplicity, endurance, and humility. This is especially meaningful at a time when religious trust in many places is challenged by noise, controversy, and scandal. When people see a practitioner living in accordance with teachings through daily life, faith no longer needs to be defended through arguments. It is naturally restored. Neither Venerable Minh Tuê's journey nor Walk for Peace aims for immediate results. There are no measurable metrics, no declarations of success or failure. Instead, they choose to sow seeds, planting in the minds of observers a question, a stirring, a moment of pause for reflection. It is precisely this lack of haste that gives these journeys their sustainability. Genuine transformation of the human heart always requires time. A slow step taken today may become the foundation for deeper change many years later. Seen as a whole, Venerable Minh Tuê's journey can be viewed as a spiritual axis, reminding us of the essence of practice, while Walk for Peace serves as an applied branch, carrying that spirit into social life. One preserves the flame, the other transmits it. One is quiet, the other publicly present, yet both are indispensable in the broader picture of contemporary Buddhism. The greatest impact of these journeys lies not in how many followers they attract or how many articles mention them, but in how they remind us that peace is not distant or abstract. It begins with how we walk, how we face difficulty, and how we treat ourselves and others in each small moment of life. And perhaps, in a world still filled with unrest, those slow, silent footsteps will continue unobtrusive, unforced, yet profound enough to awaken those who are still willing to listen.